Hello friends, my name is Tegan Lockhart and this is Hartfelt Healing. I'm so glad you could join me here today on this first installment of Fermentation 101 where we'll be preparing Beet Kvass. This is a hands-on video, so get ready in the kitchen. You will need a knife, a cutting board, measuring spoons, a very clean jar, a square of cotton and an elastic, of course your beets, salt. Make sure it has no iodine or anti-caking agents as these would inhibit fermentation. I like to use Himalayan salt because it is loaded with minerals. Sea salt is another great option. And then optionally, a probiotic capsule. So start by rinsing your beet in cool, clean water and giving it a good scrub. Don't grate it, don't use hot water, and don't use soap because you want all the beneficial buggies that might be hanging out on the skin. Now remove the tops and bottoms because they're likely to have dirt particles. These can just be composted. And then you want to cut your beet into pieces that are about 1 centimeter to 1/2 inch square. I use floating cubes to indicate the fermentation. So some people say that you can do it by taste, and for a lot of ferments you do, but for this one I find that when all the little cubes have floated up to the top, this, like I hope you can see here, the liquid's a little dark. This is when I like the taste. With the Beet Kvass, sometimes the color and particulates settle to the bottom. It'll actually look clear on top. And because it's not evenly mixed, I think the taste isn't the best indicator for this particular fermentation. And it can take anywhere from 3 to 7 days. There's a lot of factors that affect how quickly it's fermenting, in particular the temperature. So if you're in a colder place, it will take longer. I have some more beets here. I prepared ahead of time. There we go. And I like to fill my jar to about 1/3 of the way, give or take. This jar I'm using is a 600 ml jar. It is a repurposed jar that I've scavenged from friends that drink instant coffee. It has a plastic lid that has a little bit of a seal inside. I like this because some ferments tend to corrode the metal lids and they will need replacing. This lasts longer. Now at this point you will add your salt. For my jar, which is again just over 600 mils, I like 1/2 tablespoon. If you're using a 1 quart jar, you could be using a tablespoon up to 1.5 tablespoons. If you have a larger jar, you might be using more. It's a matter of taste, so try it and see what you like, play around with it. I found that 1 tablespoon in this jar was too salty. Now, at this point, I like to add a probiotic capsule. I'm using women's probiotic to get those beneficial strains in there. I would really encourage you to add a probiotic if you don't have access to organic vegetables for fermenting. That way you know that you're growing particular strains, and because non-organic vegetables are less diverse, that way you're still getting something good in there. But I really encourage using organic vegetables. It makes a big difference. Now I fill it up about halfway at this point. with water. You want to be using the cleanest water you can get your hands on. I'll give it a little stir here. If you don't have access to a bottled, distilled, or spring water or a high quality filter, then you want to boil your water ahead of time and allow it to cool to room temperature. I do this even if it's filtered, like a basic filter. I'm still gonna boil it and cool it, because if you've got chlorine or any other chemicals in there, they're killing the little bugs that you're trying to grow. So that's it. You just top it off with water, put your cotton square on top, and then you want to be checking it every day, because during the fermentation process, you will get foam that forms on top, more at the beginning and less towards the end of fermentation. But this is where you can also get mold growing. Now, mold is a normal part of the fermentation. It's nothing to be afraid of. It's only where the air is exposed. It's not through your whole ferment. You just want to be scraping it off. And if you get any on the actual cubes, just pull them out and compost them. That's it. It's so easy. I like to encourage people to start with this one because it's so easy. You've got no excuse not to try it. It's easy to fit into your schedule. And that way you get into the habit of checking on a fermentation every day, and you get to know a little bit about how it expresses itself. Like, you'll start to see the little pieces float up to the top. So I have this other one here that is ready. Most of the pieces have floated up at this point, so I'm going to decant it into some other jars. Now, the little pieces are not waste. They are still got your wonderful little fermented buggies going on in there. I love using these in smoothies and salads. Just use them up in the next day or two. Or I will throw them into soups and stir fries as well, but I don't think you're getting as many benefits because you're cooking the bugs at that point. So here we are. This is your final kvass, and you just pop it in the fridge. I like to have my ferments before bed. This way the bugs help colonize your gut. I also hear that having them first thing in the morning can help set up digestion for the day. But if you're having them with food, sometimes they're going through with the food and not actually colonizing, which is why I think before bed is one of the best times to be taking your probiotics. So I'm so grateful you joined me for this video. If you liked it, please hit that button. And if you know someone that could use more probiotics in their diet, please share. I'd love to hear about your experiences preparing these. Again, fermentation you get to communicate with them and learn how these little growths express themselves. And I think there's a beautiful communal element to how these beautiful balances express themselves in these preparations. So again, thank you so much. I love you all, and I love these little guys. Thanks.